the main purpose of this webinar is to understand what can be done and how everything can be improved in order to increase the volume of your company. Because the general number of the billionaires grew by 27.5% during these times, and the digital medicine market reaches up to $74 billion. Online education already reached $8 billion. So everything that before was so abnormal and unusual for us is going more and more normal. Yes, and everything is going online. So in order to be on the same page with market and market values and market needs, we need to redistribute our values and to keep up with our changes in the current times.
Lida, excuse me for my interruption. So guys who are connected, joined to us, could you please type plus, and we just would like to do sound check if you're here as well, and everything okay with our connection. And because I see that, great.
Oh, great. So yes, we can use the common chat for any participation, for any communication. Oh, it's perfect to hear. The sound is good. Yeah, great sound, great connection. Okay, great. So please waiting for other pluses or any other comments. I see more people joining, so just would like to repeat, please type plus if you can hear us, if you have a great connection, so if you can hear us well and properly. Okay, great, see. So yeah, please use common chat for doing this. Okay, nice to meet newcomers. We already started our webinar and we are making the sound check. So please put plus. Yeah, great, I see more. Okay, then I can connect and then we can do sound check a little bit later with more attendees.
Yeah, I think we will wait for about 2 or 3 minutes for the other guys, and we will start. Yes, Lida?
Yeah, but okay, I can tell something in general and in common. Okay, maybe so we can have more people, more and more people that are entering our webinar, how AI technologies is transforming products, especially with the healthcare and cybersecurity. On this webinar, we are planning to give you more practical cases and practical insights that a priori company have faced before. So you are free to take a cup of coffee, cup of tea, take warm blankets, because I think many of us are working from our homes. Okay, so the total length, so I think that unfortunately I won't be able to stay until the end. I need to leave around in 1 hour, yeah, right? So our webinar is planning to be around 40 minutes and plus 10 to 15, it depends the question section. So it will depend how many questions you will have to our AI expert. So I think, yes, you would be able to stay till the end of the webinar.
Okay, Lida, no I think we can start from the introduction. Vadim, yes, and because yes, we have for current moment about 20 people in our webinar.
Yes, we can start. Maybe someone is is just connecting or someone just leaving their works. So yes, Vadim Zhernovoy is our leading expert in data science. He also has a PhD in AI, and despite the fact he is really my good friend, he's also a very great developer. Together, we were working on a number of AI projects in the past 7 years, and we have finished some of them very successfully with really great results. Some of the projects we are currently working on, and he's helping me to lead those projects and to bring the best practices in life. Okay, and just a couple of few words who I am. I'm a program manager in a priority company. So yeah, my name is Lydia, and I will be the speaker of today's webinar. So I will help you to pay more attention on your questions and on your and help you to interact with Vadim. Okay. So why we choose AI and especially in healthcare and cybersecurity? So why the artificial intelligence is so popular in healthcare? The most effective artificial approaches are machine learning algorithms and deep learning ones. So those algorithms can recognize patterns in behavior and create their own logic. So those algorithms are self-learning, and they can be self-learning from day to day without non-stopping, without having a rest. Just if you have the extensive amount of the input data, you can use it, you can apply it, and then boom, you have your algorithm done. So the AI algorithms behave differently from human also in two ways. The first way is this algorithm are literal. So once the goal is set, the algorithm learns exclusively from the input data and can understand what it has been programmed to do. And the second option is some deep learning algorithms are black boxes. So algorithms can predict with extreme precision, but offer little no comprehensive explanation to the logic behind its decisions, aside from the data and type of algorithm used. For example, AI has already been used to detect disease such as cancer more accurately in early stages. And of course, we understand that if we prevent the disease, it's much better than to cure it afterwards. So AI mechanism catching abnormalities via standard system of NLP. Also, maybe some of you already heard this news, some not, but I just would like to pay attention that deep learning is being used to predict critical COVID-19 cases. And South Korean wants to develop 50 types of chipsets with artificial intelligence by the year 2030. So they would like to invest around $878 million to develop next generation AI chipsets before the year 2029. And after, they would like to teach and produce and build a 3,000 strong army of experts for the next 10 years. Well, work also with those incredible chipsets. So our developers have a keen interest in using image recognition technologies for their various purposes. And the main goal of these techniques is to imitate human brain activity and recognize also the objects and images. So another part of the topic that you already read, it's cybersecurity. As you can see, the complexity and the volume of total cyber attacks are increased all over the world. And after applying this technology, it brought instant insight, resulting in a response time. So the Capgemini recently released a report based on AI and cybersecurity, and states that 42% of the company studies has seen a rise in security incidents through time and sensitive applications. So data is now more vital than ever. We have to protect it. AI can efficiently analyze users' behavior, deduce patterns, identify all sorts of abnormalities or irregularities in the network. And with such data, it's more easy to identify the cyber vulnerability quickly and to prevent it. To prevent it on the early stages before the cyber attack happens. So I think now we can come to our main topic. I think a lot of people already entered our webinar. Okay. Also, I also would like to me and Vadim to be acquainted and take a look on the level of AI knowledge of our audience today, in order to keep the dialogue in the right direction. So could you please write and chart the mark from 1 to 5, whereas 5 you think that you are an AI experts and 1 is the beginners. So it would be nice for us to understand your knowledge in AI. Okay. Okay, so in most cases, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2. So 2.5. Okay, great. Something in the middle. 1. Okay, so Vadim. So most of audience are think that they are beginners, yeah, or they do not feel comfortable with artificial intelligence. So please feel free to tell them more about.
I think artificial intelligence, this is such area where it's very difficult to be an expert. Yeah,
yes.
you need to accumulate more and more knowledge and information.
Yes, it's every time you're constantly learning, like their neural networks are self-learning, that here you have to be also the self-learned from day to day.
Yeah, Vadim, please, it's your time.
Yeah, Vadim, now it's your time. Please let me, I already introduced our leading expert in data science with PhD and AI. Vadim, please feel free to continue.
Thank you, Lydia, for this introduction. Is sound as well? Can you hear me? Maybe put some signs in chat.
Yeah, I can tell you that.
Great, thanks. So hope you're all having a great morning time, or maybe it's not morning for someone. Let's start with our slides part. Today we will cover a few topics regarding AI. We will talk about what is AI in general. I think today it might be useful for all of us to explain AI in common terms, which is enough for running AI projects. We will discuss AI project workflow, and we will consider a few case studies in healthcare and cybersecurity to have an idea how this AI project workflow is implemented, at least in our company, and maybe you could get something from it so you can do it yourself. So what is AI in general terms? Here we will cover such topics like what AI can actually do. We will discover differences between machine learning and data science, because it often confuses people. We will see what place of deep learning in all of this, and also some tools for AI. So what is AI in general? It is what we need to know. It is a software application which converts inputs A on the slide to outputs B on the slide. So a few examples would be if our inputs some English text and our output is some Chinese text, it's probably translator up. If we want to recognize audio and recognize text from it, it's a voice recognition task. If we have input as URI images and we want to highlight malefic or benign lesions, it's object detection. If you monitor some employee activity on corporate devices and we want to detect suspicious activity, it's inside the threat protection. Another example here would be email which should be answered with some complex feedback. But this task might not be easy for AI. So in order to know what AI is capable of, we need to build an intuition about AI. How to do that? We can use such a rule which names 1 second rule. What does it mean? If you're a domain expert and all the data is given, could you come up with a quick brief answer in 1 second? So if the answer is yes, so probably it can be automated using AI. So if you check these samples on the previous slide, we could have an idea of this 1 second rule. So if you are a professional translator from English to Chinese, you probably could translate some words or sentence in 1 second. If you are a therapist and you have URI images, you can see some anomalies on images and so. And what's about email answering up? We probably could recognize in 1 second whether email is spam or something or some work mail, right? But it would take more than 1 second to answer with some complex full answer to this email. So this task could not be automated AI, at least for now. So it would be easy to develop email spam detector with AI, but it's challenging and almost not real now to force it to prepare some complex feedbacks. Another thing to improve the intuition regarding AI is to find a simple concept. Whatever your task is, you want to develop simple concept. You want to know exact what would be your inputs A and outputs B. So AI systems are capable of solving one task at a time. So if you have some complex concept you want to detect from your data a lot of things, you should probably split these tasks or simplify it. Another great point, which is not about intuition, but it also helps to understand AI projects, the knowledge that you have lots of data. The reason for this is that most of AI system use neural networks today. And the thing about neural networks is that they are scalable, they can grow, and as well as their performance with more and more data. So whatever task you're solving, it is always a great idea to have lots of data, as well as constantly acquiring more and more data, because in all cases, if your system improve it before, it will improve with more data. It's just how neural network works. So keep this also in mind. Let's see what's the difference between machine learning and data science, because it is often this difference is often misunderstood when people requesting data science services or some machine learning. So the machine learning is a term for teaching the computer to perform some tasks without being explicitly programmed. When data science is science, first of all, which is targeted to extract some concepts from the data, some insights, and what is the difference between two? So the result of machine learning project is a piece of software. Yeah, okay, it's AI system that converts your inputs A to outputs B. Whether the results of data science project is slides, the presentation. So you have some insights from your data, you present it, you do some business decisions, some other decisions regarding starting some project, including machine learning project, and so. The difference, as you may notice, is pretty noticeable. Another term that people confuse me with machine learning and deep learning in data science is deep learning. So deep learning is the simplest term of all of this, because it is the most narrowed. Remember that deep learning is always a neural network built with neurons, like is shown on the picture to the right on the slide. It also has should implement a simple concept of converting A to B, and it is also not capable of different tasks. So we cannot with Windows user activity and all the things that are on the slide detect some other things like antivirus activity or some other activity. So the concept should be simple and should solve one task at a time. Another interesting thing about deep learning is that it was inspired by human brain, but it's completely unrelated to how it works. Today, it is still not clear how brain works, but deep learning approach have some concrete concept, some concrete underlying concept, and it is clear how this algorithm works. So where all these terms stand side by side? So artificial intelligence represents all the progress made in machines solving different tasks, including robotics, CPU, etc. When machine learning and deep learning represents a narrowed family of algorithms that are able to learn from data, and deep learning use neural networks for this. This is everything you need to know to start AI project, even if you didn't work with it before. You may meet in life different terms like unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, and other things, but these are details that correspond to different particular problems, and it is not needed for understanding the whole concept. So the whole concept is simple. It is software applications that converts inputs to outputs, simple concept and use 1 second rule to understand if this task could be solved with AI. AI to solve your task, and so let's consider AI project workflow we use, including in our company and in general. So as well as traditional software, there are research phase, development phase, and support phase. It is often for AI projects that after support phase, there are consequent research phase because when your AI system is working and support for it means improve it all the time using fine-tuning techniques and training your neural network with more data. There are often research needed that helps to understand how to improve your current model, or you may want to consider replacing this model with something newer because nowadays better and better networks architectures are released. Maybe every 6 months something better is released. So the most important phase is research phase. Here we need to take a look at data and models. It is important to say that research of models is cannot be started before data research is done. So before making research on particular model architectures and deep learning algorithms, you need to fully understand your data. So you want to understand what's your inputs and outputs and how to prepare a data set for a problem. What is a data set in general? It is a set with raw data, which could be some images or tables or audio files, etc. And annotations is something that you want your AI system to do. So here's some examples. To the left, you can see image with cars with boxes. So these boxes will be annotation for this data set, and this data set can be used to train neural network to detect cars. And to the right is a simpler data set, which is used to train the network, which may identify whether a cat is present on the image, whether it is not. So there are many different ways to prepare a good data set. Maybe the hardest one, but the most accessible to everyone is manual labeling, where you take your data samples one by one and annotate it with annotations you wish your AI system would detect. Another, I would say, proactive approach to collect a good data set is observing behaviors. Maybe you are owner of internet shop, or maybe you're monitoring some activity on devices or something, and this is a lot of data, and this can be used to train great models. Another approach would be downloading your data from the websites. A lot of public data sets are available online and widely used. A lot of big companies provide huge data set for different purposes. It is YouTube data set, Google with ImageNet data sets. It is a lot of data. It can be you can fetch data only the data you need for your tasks, and this data set provides thousands of classes for image detection in particular. Another approach for acquiring the data is partnerships, which means you may have some partner company which collect data, and they may be interested in participating in AI projects, so they may provide you with data while you developing your AI system. So there are some problems when starting the AI project. Our customers often come with no data or with little data, or some other problems that prevents us from using their data in AI project. So let's consider some approaches we use to fight different problems with data, because if that data set is not ready, we couldn't start the research phase for models and start the further development. So when we don't have any data, one of approach is to buy it, because as well as many public set available, there are some maybe some private data sets that people collected, refine, and they are ready to provide it for some price. The one we talked about, finding the data, it's public data sets and partnership. And the third one is collecting data. Here we often do the research, suggesting our customers with strategies for data acquisition with some automation. So they have an idea how to collect their data set quickly. And the same problems and solutions are actual for little data. The only difference is that with little data, data scientists could investigate it already and prepare and design features for it to provide you with information how the data set should look like. So collecting data would be performed more properly, and when we collect enough data, we will be ready to start right away. Another problem that may happen before starting AI project is customers have just raw data and they have no idea what data set is and what they need to do to start AI projects. And in this case, we design annotation and we teach our customers to make these annotations. Usually we don't do them ourselves because some data is often attached to some narrow domain like healthcare or something that we are not experts in. So we teach our customers how to prepare good data sets that we are capable of working with on some AI projects. Also, customer may have data sets, but the data set will be dirty, which means some values from the tables are missing, or some data is categorical in the end, doesn't bring any information to perform detection better or forecasting. So in this case, data scientists perform data profiling and cleaning up. There are a lot of different tools for this. And when the data set is ready, all these problems with data are solved. There are another problem that arises when you want to start model research. It's inflated expectations regarding AI performance. You probably always want to have near 100% accuracy and real-time processing, but with this current approach, this whole deep learning thing, it is almost not possible. There is a term for that in deep learning, which is speed accuracy trade-off. There are a lot of models that face that address one side of this problem. Some neural networks are fast, but they perform good only on low resolution image data or just with low accuracy. And some neural networks, they are big and slow, then provide good accuracy, but they are pretty slow for computing the data, and they are not suitable, of course, for real-time detection. Real-time processing is often the desirable feature for our customers. It is important to say that when you start the AI project, you want to consider whether you want to the real-time system or high accurate system, because when you aim in the one direction, like accuracy, you cannot later make it real time. It's impossible. You need to decide it at the start. It is one or another. And how to choose the model? There are a lot of different model names for different tasks, and maybe some of you having hard time to decide which is best. And I would like to make it simple for you. It is pretty much the same as in software development. You want to find a similar problem if it is solved, and check also state-of-the-art solutions. In our experience, we never should start from scratch, making mass developing some new neural network architecture. In most cases, the same task or similar task is already solved by a group of researchers, and all you need to do is to investigate the solution, understand it, understand how to adapt it to your data, and you are good to go. It is far more simpler to work with models. You don't need to be a PhD in math or develop something from scratch, some algorithms, etc. All you need to start is to find a similar problem and check state of the art. A lot of these solutions are open source and have great documentation and supplementing research paper which explain some things that are important if you are going to use it with your data. Some of them even provide interfaces to use their network with custom data sets. Well, it is also possible to find good solutions in frameworks you are going to use. You may heard about TensorFlow or PyTorch. Both frameworks are extremely popular for deep learning tasks, and they provide such resource called pre-trained models. And you may even don't need to find something else. You just take the framework and load the proper model for your data, and you are good to go. So it also can rapidly start for in your case. So let's see at some case studies we performed in a priori. So I would follow some techniques I explained earlier, and you may have an idea how to approach AI tasks in different areas. So the first one is for healthcare. Here we have our initial data. This is URI images for observing ovarian follicles in women. What therapists usually do, they make a URI video, and then they pause at every frame. They see the follicle, and they do these marks which represent follicles and their maximum vertical and horizontal diameters, and they manually measure it with manual tools, which is time consuming and not always accurate. So we were requested to implement some to automate this task, and let's consider how to do that. So the first thing we started with is to we communicated with therapists. We are not expert in healthcare and neither in URI images, and we needed to understand how they work with this data, what all these numbers and letters mean on the screen. We need to understand how they work with it so we can understand how to prepare a data set for it. So as a result of this conversation, we were aware that there are hatch marks on the left of the image, and distance between them independently of scaling is always 5 millimeters. So we implemented a simple computer vision algorithm which involves image filtering to detect the hatch marks. In this algorithm, AI is not used, so it is often possible, as I said, that you don't need AI for some of your image processing or audio processing tasks, etc. There are always something simpler machine learning algorithms developed for some of your problems. This is one of them. So we found a way to detect that hatch marks, so we can calculate the number of pixels between them, and we could know the size of one pixel, and with this knowledge we could calculate anything you want. And the relative error of this algorithm is pretty low. It's 0.0002, so it's a very small relative error. And for the other part of the solution, we want to detect follicles. So the first thing we needed to do here is to identify our task properly. So customers said that they want to have a mask for a follicle, which represents its form. So, and for such system, we made the research. This task is called instance segmentation. And for instance segmentation, there was a state-of-the-art solution when we started the project. It was masker CNN. So we investigated it and tried to understand how it works. And we found that all we need is to build a classifier upon it and train it on our data set. So on this stage also we provided our customers with a guideline how to prepare such data sets, because we are not capable of preparing such annotations as you see on the screen. It is pretty fun that we made a mistake annotating them, because some of these black spots are not follicle and they are just blood vessels, but we are not experts to identify this. So customers prepared the data set instead of us. So regarding model development, we always start from the simple concept and go in further in terms of clarifying it with details. So we identify our inputs A as a video file and our outputs B as detected and measured follicles. As I said, we know that we need to learn simple concept A to B and solving one task at a time. So we split this into two parts. One AI application should detect follicles and the other one should measure them. As we already know, there is no need using AI in follicle measurements. So it's AI application, but it's not deep learning application. We don't need neural network to detect follicle measurements. So we would name this part like follicle detectors, which detects follicle, and follicle meter, which calculate all the measurements required for follicles, which are diameters, perimeters, and areas. Using our proof of concept, which detects hatch marks on the image, we developed a pixel meter, which detects pixel size. Using it, we could calculate anything we want regarding follicle measurements. But there is missing part here. We need what to measure. In our case, it should be detected follicles. And for detecting follicles, we investigated that it should be a neural network. When we started the project, it was masker CNN, which performed the best possible instance segmentation. Today we use some different architecture, but we started with it, and results were good. There are some extra parts on this diagram. Masker CNN is designed to work with images, so we implemented a splitter for video file. It is not a breaking science, and it just what was needed for masker CNN. So I use it on the diagram to present to you the full system, how it looks like. Later, when we developed and trained our AI system, we Dockerized it and integrated it in Azure. So you should remember always that your AI application is the same software application you may develop in other areas, and you should consider it is a matter of particular frameworks which supported on different problems. So as any other applications, your AI systems could run in cloud or on desktop or mobile, whatever is needed. The results of such system looks next. So the masker CNN was used to detect follicles and diameters, and the another part, which is follicle meter, was used to calculate diameters, surface area, and perimeters of all detected follicles. And the next and the last example would be in cybersecurity. So you have maybe a fuller picture that the same things are applied in different areas. Here we will consider secure authentication system. So the system is purposed to provide entering the building with ID card, and the system should be secure in terms of resistance to fake IDs, fake photos, and it should recognize people which who provide the ID card. So what is all this fake IDs and security about? There are some developments in AI which could compromise cybersecurity of some systems. Here's a few examples, such as deepfake is neural network for altering faces on images. So a person could be someone else on photos. And the another thing is adversarial attacks, which are performed like you're adding some noise to your image. It is recognized the same to you, but it mess up AI systems, and the AI system detects some photo differently because of this noise. So we want to protect our AI system from such such occurrences. So in this case study, we chose to protect our system using GAN architecture. Namely, it is two competing neural networks, generator and discriminator. The generator generates fake data from random noise and feed it to classifier. which is the discriminator on the screen, and it identifies if it is fake or real. Discriminator at first is trained with some real data like usual neural network. So we, as always, we start with a simple scheme A to B. We know that our inputs will be ID card and face image from camera, because one of the requirements was identifying the person who provides the ID card, and the output would be simple binary output, which is access allowed. So as we have multiple independent inputs which should be compared and analyzed, we have an additional module which is estimator, and it is implemented using logistic regression. It is another part which doesn't use deep learning and just simple logistic regression, because the input for estimator is just decision of previous neural networks in this chain. So there are 3 different neural networks that make their detections, and they feed it to the estimator, and estimator just do simple decisions here based on outputs from previous neural networks. So you may find that this case study and previous one use different multiple different neural networks, and you need to know that it is absolutely okay if your system is somewhat complex, and you cannot form simple concept A and B for your system. Just split it. If you want all of them, you can use different AI system to solve it separately, as we do in the previous case study. It was follicle measurement and follicle detection. We use 2 AI systems that works in parallel. So it's absolutely okay if your system consists of multiple neural networks. It's completely fine. So let's take a look at details regarding AI part, which recognize our input data. For RD card, the 2 neural networks are used. The first one, OCR, is for optical character recognition. It is implemented with Tesseract. It is deep learning library, which is not needed to be trained. Google already made it for us, and it works extremely well on, especially on documents and ID cards where all the text is printed and straight. So it is was used here. So you use deep learning even just calling Tesseract API like software developers, and you don't need even to know what is inside Tesseract. And face detection 1 is a small neural network for detecting small pictures of face on ID card. For this purpose, SRN was chosen in terms of performance. It is designed to work with small images, and it had just enough accuracy regarding the size of the network. So we used it here. And for face detection 2, it is purposed to recognize faces on bigger images obtained from cameras. The bigger network is used here. It is a retina face. You may be confused now with all that neural networks names architecture, but there is no magic here. We did research, we investigated what is state of the art for problems we want to solve, and we just pick what suits our case. There is no need to know in-depth details about implementation of every neural network. You just need to know where to find documentation and see how to use it on your data. It is simpler, and you don't need all the mass grades and statistics and stuff to start using this network. But the problem of the system is not detecting faces, which is capable of many neural network architecture, but security. We want to our system to be secure, and here we used generative advisory networks, which are fake generators, as we considered on the slide before. We use it to compare to add the detected face to the database and generate multiple fake images for it. So and train the retina face network face detection to subsystem we train it with fake images, and we say that these are a fake person. So our neural network becomes more resistant to providing fake faces, and so this way we make our retina face more secure. And that's it for this case study. There are two case studies we considered here, but you may find more in our April blog. We have a section for AI research. We post the most recent research here, and you can also follow us on our social media. So in Twitter and other social medias, we post links on our latest research. So you can stay in touch with all we do recently regarding AI. So thanks for your attention, and please ask your questions.
Thank you, Vadim, for such an interesting presentation. I believe that it was very interesting presentation for our audience. So maybe you already had some questions, so please type it here in the chat. So I see a couple of questions, so we can start discussing it, and other participants can also type their questions. So first question, Vadim, are you ready to answer?
Yeah.
Could a data scientist be in a junior position, or it's only an architect level role? So which type of the specialist could be the first stage in building a data scientist career?
Yeah, in my opinion, data scientist could be junior because you can be a beginner at everything. The only thing that that is important here is your skills as data scientist. So you don't need to be capable of using all the neural network algorithms, but you want to be aware of it, as well as how to find and how to learn to use some statistics and probability theory methods, which are also important for data scientists. So I think you can start your career from scratch as a data scientist. And it is also important to this area, as for any other area, that you have some tutorship. There are a lot of online help, or maybe in your company. So some more experienced data scientist could help you with your work and provide you with some help in order to develop properly as a data scientist. But the short answer is yes.
Vadim, I have a question. According to, if it is possible, related to cybersecurity domain, it is possible to detect which algorithm was used for the encryption some file. So, for example, we have some encrypted file, and we send it into our neural network, and as a result, we have the name of algorithm which use it for encryption. It is possible to do such solution, and probably to decrypt this algorithm, this file.
Okay, in your question, you already named your inputs and outputs. So for the A, you have some encrypted file. It is namely the sequence of characters. And as an output, you have a name of algorithm. Think about this problem as using 1 second rule. So if you're encryption expert, expert in security encryption algorithms, if you take a look in this file, could you say that this file is encrypted with certain algorithm? Probably not. So it is maybe challenging or even impossible to solve this task, even if you have a data set of files and algorithm name it is encrypted with, because most encryption algorithms is purposed to encrypt anything you want, any file of any size, and there's a lot of variations to cover it with some data set. I think a data set of such size couldn't exist to train a good network with it. Another important thing to point here is maybe you don't need AI to decrypt your files. Maybe it is encrypted with some simple algorithm, so you need only salt to decrypt it manually with no AI algorithm. So you could think also about this.
Okay, thank you. So guys, we already consumed all our reserved time. Lydia, I think it's we have maybe time for the last question, probably.
Yes, we have a couple of questions. So I think we can answer some. Vadim, so we can answer a couple if you will be short in your answers.
And guys who are currently participate in this webinar, we will send the link for video of this webinar, and of course you can ask us online, and we will try to answer you.
Yeah, this webinar will be okay. As far as we consume all our time, let's Vadim, let's answer the last question, and the other questions we can answer offline, right? In order not to keep time for everyone. So
question related to business forecasts. It seems very
yes
in the world.
Yeah. So I'm reading. I have a practical question. Yeah, the situation with business forecasts now is too difficult due to the world's tough times. Which type of AI mechanism could be the most helpful in making such kind of analysis to lead business safe?
So it is a complex question. We need to know what our data is. I might guess that it is some databases or tables. The first you want to do with this data is to analyze it using data science techniques. It could be some simpler algorithms before you use some neural networks. You could engineer some features from the data. You may consider which fields in your data are the most valuable for different indexes. You can, if your data is too complex to just simply make a data sets with good and bad predictions, you may apply some unsupervised simple machine learning algorithms such as clustering to find some insights from your data. And when you're found some insights, it may lead to some decisions. So you have a view of your data set, what it would be, what you want from the neural network to detect, so you can feed it with the data and train the proper neural network for your tasks. Maybe this is the answer.
Vadim, thank you, Vadim, for your answer. So as Claudia already mentioned, so you will receive the link where you can download this webinar. And also we are every time with you. So you can ask our questions offline and Vadim will answer it. If there is something interesting and after reviewing this webinar one more time, you will have more questions. So please ask us, we will be ready to help you. So I think we can finish our today's talk. Again, thanks everyone to visit us, to visit this webinar, to be such a great listeners, to participate in our questions and answers section. So for all those questions will be replied by Vadim you a little bit later. Yeah, thanks for visiting us. Thank you, Vadim, for being such a great expert. So yeah, I hope many things for you now become clear and you know what to do and how to behave in the future. Vadim, do you have any words for our audience?
Great day and holidays if they come in soon. Thanks for your attention.
Yes, for some of you, holidays are coming. So have a great holidays, have a great day, have a great evening, and bye.
Thank you.